think I'm live. Hi, awesome people. Let's give it a few minutes for people to join. I've not used this modality before. It's going to be an experience. If you can say hi in the chat thingy so I can say hi to you, please, that'd be awesome. So my name's Rich Lister. I am the author of the upcoming book, Runes Made Easy. I've got my copy. I am very, very excited about it. And I'm here to talk to you about the runes. And the runes are one of my favourite things. So please, if you have any questions, if you'd like to say hi, please put it in the chat thing. If I can work out how to find the chat thing. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to give it another couple of minutes for people to start tuning in. I'll waffle inanely. If you have questions, please don't be afraid to ask them. I probably won't get to them straight away, but they'll be there. I've got my list of things I'm supposed to do from the PR people, so I'm going to go through that. We're going to be talking about what the runes are and where they came from and who I am and who am I to be talking to you about my new book, Runes Made Easy. It's got embossed cover and everything. How good's that? So, it's been about 2 minutes now. Hi. My name is Rich Lister. I'm an author. I'm a coach with the broadest definition of coach that we have in the world at the moment. I have been all kinds of things in my life up until now, but right now I'm writing books. I'm working with people around stress and anxiety and healing themselves and making themselves better, because the power is in your hands, and the runes are a really powerful tool to help with this. Oh, names, hello. So we've got some people. Hi Jenny. Hi Mamark, Barbs, Amanda. Thank you for tuning in. And New Jersey, wow, a long way away. I'm in Portsmouth, just the south coast of the UK. So that's a long trip out for me, and well done for tuning in the middle of your day. Thank you. So yeah, runes. Runes are one of my favourite things. Martine, hiya. Iveles, I think that's how I pronounce it. My pronunciation may be wrong. Sorry if I got it wrong. Julie, hiya. Runes are one of my favourite things, and I'm really, really excited to be sharing my passion for them with you, because with lots of things in our current world, we always look to where they came from. And for me, the runes are a part of my life and where I came from, and where a lot of the culture that I was raised in came from. So we have these runes that are building blocks, are sounds and words that are found throughout all of the history of Europe, all the way down to like Turkey and the Hagia Sophia, all the way up to northern Norway, Finland, Iceland. Thank you for the correction on pronunciation there. Stacey, hi. Samantha, Shari. And the runes are these powerful connective tools that allow us to feel into how the ancient people of Europe, sort of Northern Europe, felt about the universe and the world. And I'm here to tell you about my book, Runes Made Easy, where it's got loads of cool stuff about this in it. And if you do pre-order, as Tom's just reminded me, in the chat there's a link to my website where you can get some access to like an hour and a bit masterclass that we'll be doing, and meditations and a thing for your phone and all kinds of fun stuff. So please head over there to pre-order your book and sign up to the thing to get all your stuff. So the runes are part of the history, I believe, and the very makeup of how I and many people think about the world, because it builds the very foundations of our language. Runes started as a phonetic sound. The sound of the runes are like the alphabet. So we have alphabet, the first two letters of the alphabet, AB. We have the Futhark for the runes, which are the first few letters of the runic sequence. F for Theo, U for Uraz, the strength, and it moves on throughout the entire experience of the 24 runes. There are many different sets of runes. There's many different structures of the Futharks. The Anglo-Saxon one is quite a bit more advanced because it came a bit later. It has different sounds in. The Elder Futhark, which is the one I've chosen to cover in this book, is quite an old version of the runes. And this is like 1700 years old, so maybe 300 AD, 300 CE, whatever you want to call it, as the Romans were making their way across Europe and the Germanic tribes were developing into a individual people themselves. So like the Norwegians, the Germans, Danes, Saxons, Utes, Angles, all of these fun and disparate tribes were developing their culture. So the Elder Futhark is probably the older of them, hence been called the older. There's a younger Futhark that has slightly different sounds and slightly different poems. There's runes that are Scandinavian, there's Icelandic, there's Balkan runes, there's runes from Russia, but they're all very similar because back in the day they were made by carving them into rock or bone or wood to bring the memory or the story of the words that were coming into them. So runes started as a means of bringing memory from the transitional, from the ethereal, the spoken memory of the language into stone, into bone, into wood. And then they evolve, as life does. They evolve to associate with vibrational energy that brings you this power that comes with the concepts runes, the magic of the runes. They became more than just a language. They became an oracle tool, a divinational tool. And these runes were used by the Volva, the witch, to cast spells, to make healing, make pain, make success in battle, success in lovemaking, to heal the goats, to punish, all these different energies that can be set up with these concepts of the runes. And they build and build as society evolves and adapts. For instance, the Saxon rune poems that describe the runes are much more evolved, as I said a minute ago, because they speak of very modern, in comparison, language and thought processes. And I've used some of those poems in the book. The Icelandic rune poems, because when Iceland was settled, it was like the Wild West, except with big, blonde, hairy people and axes. So kind of the same thing, and tiny little ponies. And these runes are dependent on the culture in which they find themselves, which is what's so powerful about them now. The runes reflect how we see them. And because of the advance of Christianity through Europe in the early Middle Ages, in like 500, 600, 700, and then through 800 to 1066, when most of Europe was Christianized, the runes stopped, almost dead. And so we've got like 1300 years of evolution to catch up with from some really primitive thought processes. And this is where we can build our personal power with the runes, because I can give you what I perceive the ancient people thought about them and what their energy felt about them at the time. That's like 1300 years ago, 14, 15, 16, 1700 years ago in some cases. So that's a lot of evolution from people who lived literally in mud huts and fought with bronze or maybe iron weapons to nowadays where we have everything we've got. You're watching me from all over the place, Ontario, Canada, and that's thousands of miles away from where I am right now. So there's a whole different structure of energy that we can bring to the runes. And these runes are a powerful way that we can connect with the really base energies that link us all together as humans. So runes are these really powerful sigils, carvings, shapes that are found in rocks, on stones, bones, metal, throughout like early history, the early medieval period in Europe. And from what I'm reading, there's some in Canada as well, which is this whole concept of the Vikings getting bored and going as far west as they could possibly go, especially because Iceland's not quite as hospitable as everyone was trying to tell them to get them settled there. So these runes are all over Europe, and they're part of the culture that we built Europe on, even though we then overlaid it with Latin culture, with Roman culture, with Christianity, with all of the empires that rose and fell over the last 1700 years. But we still have common sounds. We have Wednesday, which means Woden's Day, which means the god of kings, Odin from the Thor movies, one eye, spear. There's Freya's Day, Frigga's Day, whichever goddess you want to put that with. Friday, Venus Day, the goddess of witchcraft, of magic, of the triumphant dead. We have Moon Day, Monday, Moon, Manny the Moon. Tuesday, Tu is the god of war, the god of honor, the god of right action. So these thoughts and feelings have transcended time and made themselves known after thousands, hundreds of years to the present day. And this is where we, as modern day humans, can pick up the runes and go, how does this feel to me? And if we pick up a rune from my rune bag and say, we have Peroth. Peroth is the rune of luck. If you look at some of the more traditional scholars, I think Peroth is not just luck. It's the rune poem talks of what young men like doing in the mead hall after having a fight all day, and having played American football to quite high level and hung around with rugby players. And what do a bunch of guys who've just done something together and are full of beer want to do at the end of the day? It's probably not play chess. So Peroth is the rune of lovemaking. It's the rune of luck. But how do we evolve that from this really base ideal from like a long time ago to now? How does that evoke feelings and thoughts in you? Is it the luck of finding the right partner as you swipe? Is it the luck of getting the right lottery numbers? All of these things now evolve around the runes as these energies flow into us, and we can adapt and become the humans we are today using ancient technology, our bag of runes. And that is all in the book. Which you can pre-order from my website to get free stuff. There's a deep meditation in there as well. So the runes are one of my favourite things. I love them. And I would like you to feel some of that love as well. This is why I put them in a book and wrote it all down for you. For Ohio. And so this is where I am. The runes, I want to tell you about them. I want to show you pretty pictures. I want to help you craft your own runes. I want you to help you learn to read them for yourself and develop how you interact with them as a tool that is just as, or probably even more ancient than the tarot. It's an ancient tool that transcends most culture in Europe because it's being used everywhere, because the Vikings got everywhere. They were bored and got bored easily and got in their boats and went everywhere. So this energy is all over Europe, and I invite you to step into the energy and take your place among those powerful human beings that got myself too excited. I invite you to take your place amongst those powerful human beings that dove into that auricular pattern that is the weird, the network that holds us all together. And from there, we can draw our runes and see where we go. And I've just seen that Jenny Snell has asked about Odin, and I drew Odin's rune, Anus. Odin's rune and Odin are about how we talk and how we communicate, especially quite fitting as I'm talking currently to a little red light, trying to read things on the screen at the same time. And the way in which we communicate is in utmost power for runes, because runes are all about communications, communicating of ideas. It's communicating concepts that may be gone from current life, but maybe simmering just under the surface. Because Odin is the god of kings. He's the god of magic. God, masculine. I'll put that out there. And he hung himself from the world tree Yggdrasil for 7 days, 7 nights, or 9 days, 9 nights, depending on which story you hear. With no food, no water, stabbed with a spear straight into his side. And as he lay there, hanging from this tree, wrapped in the spiky branches of this ash tree Yggdrasil, he took up the runes from the cosmos, from the universe, and he learned them. He brought them into his being. 24 runes that speak of everything from wealth and abundance, to the hail that crushes the crops, to the acts of honour and valour that distinguish us from base people, from the transitions from light to day. He took up these runes by bleeding for 7 days and connecting with the power of the universe. And when he came down from the tree, he shared the magic of the runes with those around him. And this is how the myth, the story of how the runes became around. Again, in the book. So the runes are gifted from the cosmos, from the gods, and because they were written down originally by masculine scholars, it's all very masculinely phrased. But if you scratch a little bit below the surface, you can see where the magic lies. Because we know where, according to law codes, where the power around the house and home lay. The women in that time owned everything to do with house and home. They owned the goats, the sheep, the cows, the fields, the house, everything to cook with, everything to clean with, all the clothes they owned. The men literally owned their weapons and their clothes, and then only on sufferance, because she could take all that power back whenever she wanted to, because she was in control of the marriage. And when the monks who wrote down these stories and these law codes wrote them down, they changed them, because their prerogative is to bring it into alignment with what their teachings and their learnings are. So we lose lots of this feminine magic that came here, but we know that the feminine magic was sung through Gulda into the clothes that were worn. We know the seether, the wand weavers, the volva was used to enchant weapons and clothing, to make sure that sheep had babies and women had babies. All of these energies we know started in the feminine. And the stories we hear, especially from those stories that haven't been translated from the older languages, like some of the old Danish and the old Nordic, old Norwegian, that hasn't made it into English lexicon yet, that some of these stories have the women of the community holding the power of the runes, and the men having to go and learn it through trial and error and having to endure trials to do it, because there's a different energy there. So we know that these runes are powerful, used by women and men in different aspects, because the swords and shields and spears had Hrothgar made this, or this is Sven's shield or the spears had "Please fly true, this is a gift to Odin" written on it, whereas the pieces of everydayness, the patterns sewn into clothing, spoke of love, spoke of protection, spoke of nurturing. And we can see how these energies flowed together and how they were used to survive in a very expansive time, because people were looking to expand themselves and take their tribes away. And this is what I'm trying to give you in my rune book. This book is, I'm really proud of it. I think it's brilliant. It's here to help you get a really good grounding in how to read the runes in a auricular, metaphysical fashion. It's not a scholarly rune book on how to read rune stones. If you want some, there's a resources bit in the back where you can go and see all the really dry technical stuff if you want to. They're fun if you've got that sort of brain. But this book is to help you delve in and learn how to read runes for yourself, for your friends, your family, whatever. I want you to have the power. And it's all set up through my learning for you to build your learning on top of it. I'll give you the nice strong ground plate to start with, and then you can build up from there. Because these runes are itching to be used. It's got a bit at the beginning about all the magic, the worldview, all that sort of stuff of the ancient North, from like the Weird and the Norns and Alfs, Aesir, Vanir, Jotun, all these sort of things, which I'm not going to tell you about now. It's in the book. And then there's a big chunk in the middle about each individual rune. And you can open it up and then you just jump to the page that you need, and it'll tell you all about the rune that you need for you at that time. And at the back, it's got how to do rune readings with pictures and stuff like that on how you can cast runes, how you can interpret them, and how you can do your interpretation of the runes and build your experience. Because it's all well and good doing it from mine, and that's a great place to start. I want you to delve into your soul, into your connection with the universe, the weird, to build your own practice. And that is about all the talking I've got right now. So please, if you have questions, ask them. I'm looking at the chat box now, so please put them in there. I'm happy to ask any questions on runes or Nordic stuff, so please ask away. And while I'm waiting on that, I'll do a little dance. Have I missed it? Hi Barbara. And those of you just told me you've pre-ordered, thank you. What's Carol say? Just purchased the book. As Carol said, she's got 2 sets of runes, but she doesn't want to disrespect them. What I love about the runes is that they are runes that are tools that are familial and social. They're designed to be used in every day. Because the sounds that are attracted to them, Degaz is the D in dog. So the sounds are in every sentence you speak. The energy is all around us, and so you can't disrespect them by using them, because that's what they're there for. It's a communal thing. You expect your kids to pick up and play them and build little castles and lose them under the sofa, and you have to go and fishing about and all that sort of stuff. So runes are hard to disrespect, and I recommend playing with them and using them and see how you go with that. Tracy, I've been learning since early 2000s. There's a really cool story at the beginning of my book that I don't want to spoil for you. So I've been doing it for a while. I use it all the time. I used it while I was a nurse in the ER, ED, whichever word you want to use, depending on where you are in the world. I used them in coaching. I used them when I was a yoga teacher and a massage therapist, because it all works really well. It's the thing that works well with me. and it gets me in there. Tracy, again, story in the front of the book. I'm quite proud of it. I'll wait till you've read it, and then we can talk about it afterwards in the thing at the end of the month if you want to come to that online course. I suppose I could read it. I'll find out in a minute, see how much time we got. Martine, where did I learn rune reading? I was taught by a lady who was taught by her grandma, and she was grandma age, so there's quite a good lineage there in a group I was part of in the early 2000s. And I started there, and I started with the Anglo-Saxon Fourth Arc, which is 36 runes, which takes a long time to get through. And so I've simplified going to an older version called the Elder Fourth Arc. And I've been using that for the last 15, 16, 17 years-ish. I've blotted out the last 2 years. They don't really exist. So yeah, that's where I did it, and who I did it with. Lab, is that Lab? Eab? I don't believe in reversed runes. I don't believe in them. They're not a thing, because runes are written in something called Bellerophon, which is a Greek word. When you write runes down, it doesn't matter what orientation they're in, because it's still the same rune. Because they're designed to be written and carved into rock as the shapes they are. So if the rock's a funny shape and you can't get that shape in the right way, you put it around the other way. So I don't think reversed runes are a thing, because the energy is either there or it's not. There's no point in having the negative aspect of Thurzaz, which could be pain and trauma, where actually the positive aspect is also pain and trauma. So it's how you look at it and how you contextualize your reading. Pain and trauma is a horrible thing, unless actually you need to go and have your appendix out. And if that's basis on the stories you ask yourself and tell yourself around the runes, because it's all about the context in which you pick them up. So that's the Thorn rune. Or Degaz, that's come back up again, is the transition rune, and transitions can be scary. But we have one every day. We've just gone one through here. It's dark. The sun's gone down, so we've transitioned from day to night. And there'll be one in a few hours' time from night to day. So transitions can be pleasant, they can be positive, they can be negative. It's all around the context in which you ask the question. Joy, actual runes are not commonly sold. I'm not sure what the question is there. But these runes are ones that I've made. They're done on ash that I planted in the early 90s when I was little in my parents' garden. And again, in the book, buy the book, it's great. Tells you how to make them. You can start with lollipop sticks or stones from the beach, or you can go and get yourself a bandsaw and cut up bits of wood to make your runes, whatever works best for you. If you want to go really technical, there's lots of technical stuff in the back of the book around rune stones in Sweden and Ireland and Norway and all that sort of stuff. Tracy, astrology and runes. That's going to be in the online course that's coming out early next year, I think, or maybe like April time next year. It's going to be a bit on runic astrology. But buy the book first, learn the runes. Natasha, making runes out of oak. Yes, you can definitely make runes out of oak. Oak is hard and it's enduring and it will last for ages. These are ash because I had ash that blew over. I've got a set of yew ones because I had some yew. Runes in antiquity were made from whatever they had them wise. You can make them out of oak. I've got some bog oak ones that are black and with gold runes on, which are dead pretty, but I've put them somewhere safe and I can't find them. What you make them out of makes it uniquely yours. You can go to a crystal shop and buy 24 pieces of rose quartz, and that resonance will carry through your rune readings. Or you can make them out of resin that you've poured from a bottle. Or you can make them out of ash. Or you can make them out of pebbles from a beach that really sings to your soul. Whatever works for you is the magic here, because you're the conduit. These guys just pick up the resonance around you. put that one away. Could we see you use them? Pamela, yes. So we could do a collective reading. So I invite you, if you feel comfortable, if you're driving, don't do this, to wiggle out your shoulders. Let them relax, let them drop away from your ears. So there's space here. Give your jaw a wiggle. You can close your eyes or not, it's up to you. Take a deep breath in through your nose and ask yourself a question. A question that you would like an answer to. Not a yes-no question. A question that's open-ended. Definitely not a yes-no question. And the rune I'm going to do now, this is how I'm going to use it right now. The rune is Tiwaz. It's the rune of Tu, or Tyr. He is the god of right action, of justice, of doing the right thing at all costs. And this right thing always depends on your personal version of the right thing. It could be that your right thing is always going to be following the legal precedent. It could be the right thing is going with what your heart tells you is true. It could be the right thing that you don't know the answer to, so you need to seek guidance for someone who you trust. So in answer to your question that you've just brought to yourself, the answer is do what feels right for you. And a good way of deciding that is standing up straight with your feet about hip width apart, bend your knees, and tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do. And if your body takes itself forward, then yes, that's the right answer for you. That's your body's telling you that this is the connection that you're looking for. So right action and doing the right thing is always governed by your doing the right thing. I hope that's okay. Joy, you're Norwegian, Swedish, Irish and Scottish, all the Scandi. What do I recommend book studies? You should study Runes Made Easy by Richard Lister. That's got a really simple, soft way in. If you need more details of hard runic stuff, there's links in the back. My favourite is my favourite way of getting into it is a band called Wardruna, Wardruna, who sing Gulda music. They did the music for the Vikings TV show the first couple of seasons. And don't listen to it while driving, because when I did, I put my car in a bush. It's magic. So I'd recommend having a look at that. But book-wise, Runes Made Easy by me. Nash, under Nash Tree, Tracy. Thank you. Iab Sib, is that Iab? Saib, what's coming towards you? Acting in your values, stick to your guns, stick to your truth. I think that's I've scrolled down all the bottom. Yay! So, is there any more questions, team? What am I supposed to say? Oh, I'm doing more. I'm doing more Facebook Live on the 23rd of November at 4 p.m. GMT, 9 Pacific time, which is probably midday Eastern, something like that. Yeah, and I recommend please go and have a look at my website. Sign up to the free things and get your free stuff, and please buy the book, because then Hay House will love me. Thank you so much for your time. Again, if you sign up to my book, sign up to my newsletter, you get contact with me and I can send you stuff and you can send me stuff. And Leanne, yeah, they're quite a magnetic suck towards you. And JC June, what's coming towards you is that right action. Choose your truth. Stick to your guns. Don't let people sway you from your truth. Katrina, I can tell you something if you ask. I can do my best to answer. Pamela, you can. They'd be your runes. I've got a friend who's made them out of different metals and different stones. He's a blacksmith, so he's got access to all kinds of fun stuff. So he's done that. Joy, the runes, depending on where your patterning lies, they are written down by a lot of Christian monks. One of them is called the Venerable Bede, and so there is a, depending on how you want to go through it and what culture you come from, that it does fit the pagan/Christian model of the world, because they're all written by Christian monks with that model in mind. So the runes in the Anglo-Saxons speak to God and how he sends down blessings from heaven to bring the abundance to the crops and things like that. So there's a big mismatch of beliefs and evolution of humans in this, and it works, but it's all based on the same stuff of connection with your nature and things like that. Thank you, Carol. I hope that helps. I think it's Ayeb. I hope I'm saying your name right. Website, Nancy. It's www.richardlister.com. It should be pinned at the top of this chat. Richardlister.com. And yeah, should be on the front of there. It's me looking smug, so you should be able to find it. Yeah, go to the beach, find some stones, but leave an offering when you find your stones at the beach. Leave an offering of, for instance, of tidying up some trash, or something that gives back to the energy of the beach. Yes, it's definitely okay to make your runes out of glass, Shari. It's up to you what you resonate with. I like wood because I'm an earthy kind of guy. But if you resonate with glass or resin or whatever it is that feels good for you, especially if you're a glass worker, then yeah, do it with what works for you. These are your runes. No one can tell you they're right or wrong because they're yours. This is the power that you claim back. This is your energy. Thanks, Tom. Past lives aren't my forte, Natalia, but there is some really cool stuff out there. David Wells does some cool past life stuff, and there's definitely a Hay House book on it. Tracy, don't need to be precious with runes. I'm not precious with runes. Some people believe that magical items should be treated with kid gloves. Personally, I think they're communal things that should be played, and their energy is enhanced by a toddler spilling jam on them. Or I have a big frame drum that I made for my wedding, and I think its energy is enhanced because the kids picked it up and banged it as we were walking down and things like that. So I believe, personally, from my perception, that if we keep our magical items that are durable, admittedly a glass dagger or something that is going to cut an arm if it breaks or something, don't let people play with it. But something like runes, these are almost indestructible if you don't treat them rubbish. And they will last and last, and I believe they should be communal because it picks up the energy, the hamangia of the community around you. Katrina, trust your spirit about your future, trust your connection with the divine, connection with nature, and that will help you move forward. Leanne, I've got Irish and Scottish heritage, very Scandinavian, especially Norwegian, because those guys got everywhere around the north of Scotland and into Ireland. Thank you. Definitely hugging trees. I can answer a question, Nancy. Please ask. I can't wait for you to read my book as well, Jenny. I'm well excited. I'm super chuffed by the book. Or if you want to ask the question privately, Nancy, please just email me. Because when you subscribe to my newsletter thing, it all sends you through stuff, and you just reply to that and it comes through to me. I'll do a little dance for a minute if anyone has any questions. Tell your friends to buy the book. I'm holding my breath now, in anxious, ready to pounce. Okay, awesome humans. I think that's it. So I invite you to rub your hands together so you get some heat, and then brush yourself off a bit to move any of my nervous energy that I may have infected you with, to ground you in your body so you move on with the rest of your day. Curl your toes up so you can feel your socks or the floor beneath you, or your shoes. Rub your feet on the floor so you know exactly where you start and finish. And take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Have an amazing rest of your day. Buy the book. Links on the website, on the screen. Bye-bye.